Daisy Backstar. Chapter 4. Chloris wails. Original story by Daisy Backstar. All original characters by Daisy Backstar. Audio and video by Daisy Backstar. Artwork and editing by Daisy Backstar. Original script by Daisy Backstar. Last review. March 8, 2024. Attention! This is a story separated into chapters. Look for the index or playlist to find the correct order of chapter progression. Thanks for watching The Secret Life of Daisy Backstar. The Secret Life of Daisy Backstar, Chloris wails. Daisy is alone on a beach. Fine sand runs through the toes of her small bare feet. Daisy looks up at the cloudy sky and the sun shines through a gap between the clouds and a very large shadow passes quickly behind the clouds. Daisy runs towards the seawater, but the wet sand makes her stop and sit down, but the seawater is still too far away for her to see. Daisy looks to the horizon where she sees 3 other smaller suns in a pink sunset. Daisy tries to speak, but she can't say any words. She has completely lost the ability to speak in human language. A huge shadow cast over the sand moves, covering Daisy and everything around. She tries to look up to see what it is, but she can't turn around. Daisy realizes that her legs have created roots in the wet sand and she can no longer move. Then a very strong sound came from the creature above Daisy. It was a melancholic voice like a lamenting cry. A deep emotion runs through Daisy's entire body as if she were falling into infinite space. Then Daisy manages to turn her head and look up and she can see the huge creature floating just a few feet above her. She sees the silhouette of a huge whale heavily obscured by a sparkling light. The sound of the whale becomes so loud that Daisy feels the grains of sand shaking around her feet. "You can't talk here." That's what the whale said, and somehow Daisy managed to understand. Then Daisy has the feeling of falling into infinity faster and faster and stronger. "I'm a plant too. I'm a plant. I don't want to die," Daisy shouted at the top of her lungs. "Who are you?" "I already know," said the whale. Then the gigantic whale floats away through the air towards the 3 distant suns on the horizon. Daisy feels cold and gets colder as the whale moves away and disappears over the horizon. Everything suddenly goes dark, totally dark, but in a flash of light, there is a flash where she sees indecipherable writing in a language with unknown characters. Daisy falls into infinity at infinite speed until everything goes completely black. Daisy is lying on the bed in her room at Botanical Laboratory number 05. She slowly regains consciousness, but without opening her eyes. She feels cold, even though she knows that the temperature inside the laboratory is controlled and never changes. Daisy shivers from the cold. Then Daisy manages to open her eyes. She realizes that everything she saw before was either a dream or a hallucination. Daisy puts her hand on her head and her hair falls like withered leaves. Then Daisy tries to scream for help, but she can't. Her lungs are filled with fluid up to her throat and she feels a mind-boggling pain in her stomach. Then Daisy rolls to the side and falls out of bed, knocking over the medical instruments that were on the table next to her. Daisy starts to vomit. Little by little she manages to get the liquid and substances that were in her belly out of her body, coughing and progressively vomiting. In the middle of the vomit she sees something that looks like crumbs from the cookie she had eaten the day before. "I'm a plant. I can't eat human food," Daisy thought. Daisy crawls across the floor trying to find a sink or water source to rehydrate. Daisy feels a horrible pain inside her and feels too tired to keep crawling, so Daisy closes her eyes. 2 minutes later Dr. Richard Backstar enters Daisy's room. He finds the floor full of vomit and several devices lying on the floor. Daisy. Where are you, Daisy? The doctor shouts. Then the doctor finds Daisy unconscious, lying on the floor, with her nightgown covered in vomit. The doctor carries Daisy to a hospital stretcher and rushes her to the medical laboratory. Then the nursing students arrive to help. Dr. Richard Backstar recognizes the cookie crumbs mixed into Daisy's vomit. She needs her stomach pumped, says the doctor. After that, Daisy wakes up with a tube in her throat. Because of the tube she is unable to speak. I'm here, Daisy, don't worry, it's almost over. Daisy recognized Dr. Richard Backstar's voice. Then Daisy starts crying and many tears fall from her eyes. Calm down, Daisy, it's over, you're going to be fine, it's over, says Dr. Richard Backstar. When the tube is removed from Daisy's throat, she can only continue coughing repeatedly. Coughing like that will hurt your throat more, said a nursing student. Then Daisy starts crying. I'm just a plant, says Daisy. Then she calms down a little. Forgive me, Daisy, it's my fault. I should have analyzed whether it was really possible for you to eat like a normal girl before allowing you to eat that food. I'll stay with you until you feel better, said Dr. Richard Backstar. Doctor, I saw a whale, but it wasn't a fish. Daisy said. That's true, whales are not fish, whales are mammals just like humans, just like Rita and me. Don't you think that's amazing? Said the doctor. But that wasn't it, the whale wasn't like humans, she was like me, the whale was also a plant. Daisy said. Really? A giant plant that lives swimming in the ocean? I've never seen anything like this, said the doctor. But the whale didn't swim in the ocean, she floated in the air. The whale flew in the clouds and hovered in the air. Daisy said. Nice, Daisy, you really had an amazing dream, said the doctor. It wasn't a dream, the whale spoke to me. Daisy said. What did the whale say? The doctor asked. Doctor, I can't tell you. I spoke to the whale in the language of plants. I can't tell you what she spoke in the language of humans. Daisy said. And what did she want to say to you? Asks the doctor. The whale wanted to show me a different world, a sunset with 4 suns and a pink sky. I think there were 3 moons and there was also something written. Daisy said. Dr. Richard Backstar fell out of his chair and hit his buttocks on the floor. What? There's okay. The doctor stands up and calms down. Ah, so it was his dream, Daisy. Interesting, says the doctor awkwardly. Are you disguising something, doctor? Daisy asks. No, I'm just thinking about my work with numerical catalogs, which is very tiring, said the doctor. Doctor, you promised you'll stay with me, you won't work on number catalogs today. Daisy said. Sure, we can play some games. What would you like to do, my little plant? Asks the doctor. We can play a game, replied Daisy. Are you feeling better already, Daisy? Asks the doctor. I feel better, but I still feel weak, says Daisy. Then Dr. Richard Backstar brings a set of blue lamps to illuminate Daisy. Daisy, you are a plant, you don't have a digestive system like humans. Like all plants, you feed on light through a process called photosynthesis. If you were human, you would have died when you choked like that. You still manage breathe through your skin like a normal plant. This light will be good for you to recover, explains the doctor. Daisy feels the light from the lamps warming her skin, and little by little the pain subsides. I like the light on my hair, they are like my leaves. My hair does more photosynthesis than the rest of my body, and it also makes my sap circulate more easily, says Daisy. You're very intelligent, Daisy. You already speak like a scientist and you're still just an 8-year-old child, said the doctor. Yes, doctor, I'm a child, I know that. I want to play. You promised you'll play a game with me, doctor. Daisy said. I like the light on my hair, they're like my leaves. My hair does more photosynthesis than the rest of my body, and it also makes my sap circulate more easily. Says Daisy. You're very intelligent, Daisy. You already speak like a scientist and you're still just an 8-year-old child. Said the doctor. Yes, doctor, I'm a child, I know that. I want to play. You promised you'll play a game with me, doctor. Daisy said. The doctor smiles and goes to get some board games to play with Daisy. Daisy and Dr. Richard Backstar spent most of the morning playing board games until Daisy felt recovered from the eating crisis she suffered during the night. Last review. March 8, 2024. Thanks for watch The Secret Life of Daisy Backstar.